And joining us on the podcast now as we talk about our different members and just get a day in the life of what their particular industry is like. We have the Wellness Way of Ada and Dr. Todd Gillfillan and Alicia Weaver joining us. Guys, thank you so much for one, being a part of the chamber, and two, agreeing to do this.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about wellness. We see a lot in that area over the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years. It has been a very, very growth-minded industry, and see a little bit what your day is like. But before we get into that, let's just talk a little bit about the Wellness Way in Ada and everything that you do there.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess the way we would summarize ourselves, kind of our elevator pitch, if you will, is we're part of a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can. So, I mean, the Wellness Way, it's not just us here in Ada. A lot of people don't realize that. There's a whole big group of us. Originally founded almost 30 years ago by Dr. Flynn. He is a chiropractor himself, and doing all sorts of things. I mean, he's currently working on his master's and eventually PhD in immunology at Harvard Medical School. But it got founded by him, started by him, and grew as stories got out. Of course, that was before social media. But as the stories got out, the company and the brand grew, and now there's a whole big group of us across the U.S.
So, Alicia, let's talk a little bit about some of the services that you offer and everything that goes into that.
Dr. Todd actually has offered chiropractics for a lot, like even before he started with the Wellness Way. So he's been a chiropractor. And so we offer that service, of course. And then we also offer our health restoration services. And really what that entails is sitting down with us and going over any test results that you've had done in the last, like, 6 months to 12 months. Mm-hmm. We go over them with you. A lot of the times people bring that stuff in and they're like, well, they told me everything looks great, but I don't feel great. And so we sit down with you and really discuss like what we see in that, but then also like where we could find triggers for inflammation. So understanding where inflammation is coming from is our biggest thing that we do here.
And inflammation really seems to be an area that people have drilled down on here over the last few years too, as the kind of the root cause of a lot of just chronic conditions, it seems.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing that no matter if we have somebody who disagrees with us in the like healthcare field or whatever, no matter where you're at in the healthcare field, everyone agrees that inflammation is there and has to be there in order to have a condition, a symptom, or a disease.
Yeah, and just reducing inflammation altogether. I think, I get inflammation in the elbow, knees. I'm getting older is what I'm saying, and reducing that would be great. Todd, let's talk about just an average day at the Wellness Way. What does the day-to-day look like for you?
I mean, for me, it kind of varies a little bit by day as far as the combo, but it's the weighted combo anyway, but it's usually a combination of some chiropractic adjustments and then just throughout the day sitting down with some people for what we would call like consult type appointments or follow-up appointments where we're going over everything Alicia just discussed. So it's just a combo of the two and working with people on whatever their health goals are.
Alicia, pretty much the same for you as when you come into the office each day then?
I don't actually. Currently, I do not come into the office every day. I am here 2 to 3 days a week, and then kind of whenever is needed. So, like, let's say, like currently, we are trying to hire a front desk staff, so kind of filling in wherever necessary. But same, like when I meet with people for their consultations, like we're going over what their goals are. Do they want to lose weight? Do they want to get pregnant? Are they struggling with infertility? Are they struggling with insulin resistance? Like all of those things we sit down and talk to them about.
What do you see as the biggest misconceptions about your industry or if you wanted people to know one thing about your industry, what would that be? That was the magic of asking two questions at the same time. You guys can pick whichever one you would like.
Then we get to choose two answers then?
You can. You go for it.
One, I'll throw two out there, and then Alicia, you can throw yours out there. But I think I would say one, that it's not all or nothing, meaning it doesn't have to be all our way or modern medicine's way. The two can work together. A lot of people think we're going to be very anti-medicine. We're not. We actually, I mean, we have posters in the office kind of illustrating that concept, as to how modern medicine can be great in some circumstances and can do some fantastic things to save lives and all that. But then there's a time and place for people like us. So it's understanding that we both do have a time and place. And, in our opinion, neither one of us is great at everything. We can't help in the crisis situations. But if a lot of the things being done in today's world were making people healthy, then people like us, people wouldn't be seeking us out if everyone was healthy. So it's just time and place for both. And then the other thing that I would say is just one step at a time. I think some people can get overwhelmed in the beginning, but it's one step at a time. You walk a mile one step at a time. It's not, you're not going to have everything figured out by 5 o'clock that night when you come home. It's process. So those are my two.
Actually, one of the common misconceptions I get as a health restoration coach underneath or working with a health restoration chiropractor and doc, sometimes I hear, oh, well, what makes you qualified for that? And so it's like, well, the experience I have with what I like to call the specialist hop,
Right.
where you like just keep getting recommended to the next person, and nobody's like really finding answers for you or trying to figure, like they're trying to figure it out. They're just not figuring it out. And a lot of the times that is frustrating in itself. And so since, I don't know, for as long as I can remember, I've been struggling with anxiety and depression. And then in 2021, when I found Dr. Todd over here, actually, I went to a inflammation talk and listened to him for an hour and a half and bawled all the way home because I had finally heard the things that I needed to hear. Like somebody was actually like, oh, well, this thing is connected to this. So don't forget about looking at that, because this other thing can also be connected to the symptoms that you're having. And that was like everything that I needed. And then in 2023, I went to the Wellness Way Academy, and it's a year-long program. So it is not short on all the things. And so if you like fail any part of that, you have to either redo that part of it or you're done. Like you can't go on. And so they teach you from the ground up: anatomy, physiology, herbal recommendations, contraindications, like all the things. And so, yeah, that seems to be a common misconception that I get.
Where do you see the industry going in the next 5, 10 years? Obviously, there's an evolution to every business type that we see here at the Chamber of Commerce. Where does this roll from here?
I mean, I think the industry as a whole is heading up just because there's a growing demand for it. More and more people are kind of realizing that, again, there's a time and place for certain medical things, but there's also a time and place where it'd sure be nice to avoid them if at all possible. I mean, a lot of people are just getting frustrated with feeling not feeling good. So, I mean, to me, I think it's heading up. The chiropractic, a lot of people are looking for alternatives to surgeries and trying to avoid those too. So I think both of them long-term are heading up. It's just people have to get to a point where they're ready to do something about it, because lifestyle change is hard. But, as a whole, I think the demand is going to grow.
Todd, on the subject of chiropractic care, I know that myself, I used to be a person who would only go to the chiropractor when something was amiss, and then you would have to go several times over the course of a few weeks just to get back to a baseline. And once I started going just monthly to get realigned,
Right.
it was life-changing for me. And very rarely do I have to go in because something is screwed up.
Right. Yeah, I hear that quite a bit. And I mean, there's so many misconceptions out there about some of those things. I mean, we're not all trying to get people coming in 100 times, but I always tell new patients, we're not magicians. We can't always fix it in one appointment, but then, if you don't do anything for a long time, then yeah, we're going to have to start over. I mean, you could use so many analogies for this, whether it's your car, if you don't do car maintenance on it for 3 years, you're probably going to take more work to get it back on the road. Or I mean, another kind of analogy you could use is like dental work. If you don't go to the dentist for 10 years, you're probably going to have to go a few times to get things under control, right? But as long as you do that routine maintenance type stuff, it tends to just play out that way. And it's kind of the same thing, like with what you said. Like if I wait till there's a flare up, I have to go several times. But if I just go here and there, I feel better in the meantime.
Yeah.
And then, if you really do the math, a lot of the times the number of visits will add up to near the same. What they're just clustered in the midst of a flare up instead of just kind of gradually every so often, every so many weeks or something throughout the year. And kind of another thing I like to put out there to new patients to get them to think a little bit is we've all got friends and family that'll say things like, well, I'm getting old, I'm getting arthritis in my neck, or low back, wherever. But to kind of counteract that thought process, my response to them is, well, wait a minute, if it's because of an age problem and it's only in your neck, does that mean your neck is older than your low back? You see what I mean? So
that's a good point.
It's all the same age. So the question is, why is that area wearing out faster than the other parts? And that's where, from our point of view, those adjustments can try to keep things wearing out evenly, or ideally not wearing out, right? I mean, it's, again, another car analogy. The front of your car is not lined up right. Those front tires are probably going to wear out faster than the back tires, even though they're probably the same age and probably have the same miles on them, right?
Absolutely. And Alicia, I had kind of accidentally interrupted you when you were getting ready to talk about the future of the industry. I know you had some thoughts on that as well.
Oh, no, you're fine. Actually, the thing that I was going to comment on this part of it was, I think it's really interesting because people think, well, my back's out or something's going on, right? And I feel rough. And they're like, oh, I just need another adjustment. In their head, that's what they think they need. But we've all gotten an adjustment and it didn't do anything. And like that, and it could be the best chiropractor in the world. I don't care how much continuing ed they've been through, could be the best chiropractor in the world, and they're still going to leave there, and it's still not going to have fixed the issue, right? The root cause or root causes. And so that's where we come into play. We're going to look at things a little bit differently, and we're saying, okay, well, instead of coming in for like, if Dr. Todd adjusts you like 3 to 4 times a week, right? You don't need another adjustment.
Right.
You might need to look into maybe putting down the soda or putting down something that is super inflammatory in your diet or even in your life. It could be a plethora of things, right? Like being around somebody who's got stinking thinking, like traumas, thoughts, and toxins all cause inflammation. And so our goal is to really figure out where they're coming from in your life.
I don't want to brag, but I look at this. I've been drinking so much more water lately. Just water. Doesn't mean I'm drinking less coffee. Maybe a less pop, but I've been doing more water. That didn't make any sense to anybody just listening to the podcast. I just picked up my my 24-ounce water jug I drink a lot of those a day. But I do feel better. And then this last week I was on vacation and did not drink as much water and certainly felt the impact of that. So, getting into those good habits certainly goes a long way. I imagine that's part of the coaching. You mentioned continuing education as well. That's something I think that both of you take part in. This is not an industry that is static by any means.
Right.
No, it's not static. We are learning about all kinds of different things. I mean, on the Wellness Way side of things, we have a training every Tuesday, at least one training every Tuesday. And then sometimes like last week, we had 3 trainings Tuesday, and then we had 1 on Thursday. So there's and it could be a 45-minute thing. It could be an hour-and-a-half thing. Quarterly, we have one that's like 5 hours long. Like we're just all the time picking up things. So Lyme is a really big thing right now because of all the ticks and stuff like that around Ohio. And so around the world, really. But specifically in the United States, the Wellness Way is definitely trying to make sure that they know all the things and how that fits into what we're already doing.
Let's talk about that real quick. We do know that ticks are quite active this time of year. It's been bad this year. And that's actually not something that I realized that you guys talked about. What are the things people need to look out for there? And if they were bitten by a tick, is it bitten or bit? I don't know. It's too late in the day for me to consider grammar at this point, I guess. But what do they need to know if they do get bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's several factors at play there. I mean, they might need to seek some medical care, if it's a fresh bite or something like that. I mean, there's a time and place for that again. But, from our viewpoint of, health restoration and those types of things, it's trying to maintain a healthy immune system to allow your body to support itself, no matter if it's a tick bite or, the common cold, flu, the next pandemic, whatever it is. I mean, it all comes down to the person's immune system and how well it's able to fight those things, because we're exposed to things all the time. Now, yes, some can seem to be more problematic than others from a chronic standpoint, but to us, it all comes back to the immune system and just, keeping the inflammation down. I mean, there's some testing we do that you can dig a little deeper into the immune system from what your average medical doctor is going to test, just to get a little bit better feel of, are you immune compromised or not? Should you be afraid of a cold or a flu or something like that? Or do you have a pretty sufficient immune response to where your body should be able to handle it and no big deal, life goes on?
So if people want to learn more about this, what's the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Everything we do as a whole, the best way, I mean, I would just refer them to the website, thewellnessway.com. There's so much information there. If you have, questions about a certain, symptom or condition or things like that, because like I said, the Wellness Way is not just us here in Ada. So there's a whole group of people that put those articles together. Really, you can find everything from there. I mean, our office and all the other offices are always active on social media. Let's see, Dr. Patrick Flynn, the founder that I mentioned, usually it's him that every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Ohio time, he does what he calls ADP, stands for A Different Perspective. It's a show that's usually an hour or so long, recorded live. All the archive versions are on the website, some on YouTube. It kind of depends on the topic and things, but you can go back, check out all that information, learn more about those subjects. Here in our office, we offer what we call a discovery call, which is it's a free phone call where if a patient or a person is like, hey, I want to learn more about what you do, they can get on a phone call with one of us and we can just kind of talk through, okay, what's going on? This is what the process would look like, and try to make sure it's the right fit for them, and it's kind of what they're looking to get into. Because some people, they want the magical fix, but they don't want to do the lifestyle change. And I mean, that's not really what we do. We don't have the magical fix. We're trying to, combine everything with lifestyle change and really trying to coach them through that. So if that's what they want, great. If not, then we can tell them that that's not what we do, and they can look for something else that might be what they're looking for. And whether or not it'll work or not, I don't know. But that discovery call, they can just call into the office, or there's ways just through online options various online ways that they could schedule that as well.
Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us. I always love talking to our members and learning more about the industries that they're involved in and what's happening with their individual businesses, but also just as the industry as a whole. I think this has been really informative. Thanks for taking time to talk to us about it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Doug.